So hello, welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be playing some Kaiserreich. It is midnight, my time as of streaming here. I'm not too sure how long we're going to stream for. Honestly, we might stream for like 6, 7, 8 hours. We'll see. We'll see. But today we're going to be playing as Serbia. We have not played any of the Balkan countries since the... Actually, that's not true. We played Bulgaria. We have not played any of the other Balkan countries since the update last year. I don't quite remember actually when the Balkan update was, but we're playing a little Serbia. They have a little bit less territory. I think last time I played Serbia, they did own Niš, but that is now proper Bulgarian land. And I'm not too sure also, I'm not too sure which route we're going to be taking right away. Whether or not we'll become democratic, we might say it's a monarchy. I doubt we're going to go socialist. Just because it is not the way I want to focus this run here. Because we will be doing a Union of Britain run afterwards. Because the International, this whole update, the International has just basically just been a kind of trash situation. The Serbian Republic. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand by Galileo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist, was the catalyst which caused the beginning of the Weltkrieg. So Serbian forces fought valiantly and earned the world's respect by stalling the Central Powers to advance for months. By late 1915, the entirety of the country ended up occupied. Divided into Austro-Hungarian and Bulgarian occupation zones, Serbia was exploited and burned. The adversaries seeking to enact revenge upon what they saw as a barbaric regime. This only emboldened resistance in the territory, however, and things on both sides of the front changed in 1918. Austro-Hungary, pressured by its German allies, finally began peace talks, while the Serbian resistance in Corfu, seeing the pitiful state of the Entente, came to the conclusion that even a bitter peace is better than annexation. King Peter abdicated, with his son took the throne as Alexander II, who signed a punitive treaty of Wurtzhold in 1919. It is restored a rump Serbia in the Austro-Hungarian occupation zone, forever tied to the Austrian sphere of influence. An Embolden socialist movement began in Belgrade, inspired by the Russian and French revolutions, and the opposition of the People's Radical Party got Alexander II to respond harshly. Political life was suspended, the socialist movement banned, and a royal dictatorship ushered in to maintain order in the defeated nation. This act only inflamed tension in the country, and by the end, however, it bowled over into revolution in 1925. The military organized into the Konspiracija secret society in an act of defiance against the king and Austrian assassination of Alexander II on December 3rd, which led to the royal dictatorship to its collapse. Prime Minister Vizlot Ilkovic, again, I'm not great with why can't I not remember the name of it? I'm not great with names, just in general, honestly. Slavic, that's the word I'm looking for. Surge of the opposition was proclaimed the Serbian Republic. After a brief diplomatic standoff, the provisional government of Lojimir Stanovic recognized the Treaty of Wurtzhold, and Vienna recognized the Republican government in turn. Today, Serbia stands as a burning symbol of democracy in the Balkans, at least on the surface. In truth, however, the government may proclaim heartwarming goals like peace, welfare, and prosperity. Nothing in the Serbian government happens without the approval of the Minchie. The military secret society did be styled after the Black Hand. It seeks one thing only: the liberalization of all Serbs outside of the Republic's borders. Again, in the shadows, another conspiracy lurks as well: the White Hand, led by Petar Zvonik, which waits the chance to overthrow the Republic and interment and restore the underage son of Alexander II. As 1936 begins, Serbia is still nominally a client state of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but its grip grows looser by the second. And once it finally falls, all of Serbia's enemies will crumble. So what you have right now, the Treaty of Wurtzhold, that will go away. Who the hell are you? Are you new? I don't recognize this portrait. But I believe in WWII. I think once Black Monday happened in Austria, we will start to kind of have some more independence, let's just say. The Serbian election of 1936. The term of the second president of the Serbian Republic, Dragomir Viskic, is coming to a close. And on the 5th of October, a new election will be held in the Serbian Skopuznia. According to the Constitution of 1926, Skopuznia is a unicameral, that's how I pronounce that, legislation is elected by all male and female citizens of the Republic and for free, universal, ballot to a 5-year term. The government structure of Serbia is semi-presidential. The president is elected by the legislator, much like the prime minister, but has considerable power in domestic policy and the appointment of public officials alongside the usual duties of representing the state in foreign affairs. While the prime minister is dependent on the backing of the Skopuznia, The president serves as the predetermined 5-year term, no matter what is taking place in the legislature. That is not to say that he's all-powerful, however, and needs parliamentary support for pretty much all appointments and legislation. The electoral campaign in Serbia began late last year and continues into 1936. As the world veers closer to war, and so do the Balkans, the force which wins the election may get to decide the fate of the country for ages to come. Also, we probably should get our units ready to go. We have 4 troops. I'm pretty sure most of them are hot garbage. I will assign you to be Field Marshal. I will assign you to be our General. Throw them right on the border with Bulgaria. And then you guys just prepare a push towards Sofia. At least for right now. Again, we do have the election. Currently, the Republicans are leading. And there's possibly a Republican Socialist coalition. Because the Republicans, the Radicals, the Socialist Workers, the Socialists, and the Agrarians. Okay, we have youth, to payment. Military society formed within the Serbian army in the 1920s under the guidance of former member of the Black Hand. Its main goal is the unification of all Serbs and the motto of strong Serbian identity, strong Serbian nation. Beliefs are all across the political spectrum and do not hold it back. Okay. These are for us to get more. I mean, national populism, if I remember correctly, kind of screws you over. If you go national populist, it kind of stops you dead in your tracks. If you go Yugoslavia or Greater Serbia, I'm not too sure yet. Well, again, we're gonna play it by ear. So let us. I mean, how much equipment do we have? 58 guns? It's not a ton. Resistance, the thing, basically garbage. Manpower is kind of garbage. We'll just go for. Just give me some rifles. How much? We have 14% national populism. Again, we don't want that number to be too high. Otherwise, I think it leads you to basically being, like, the bad end. Which, you know, locks out a lot of potential focuses. So right now, we are paying... Okay, so we're paying with party support right now. Which I mean is it's okay for a little while. Don't care about you, don't care about you. I'll get my Army and Navy experience. Can't do anything with that. Hello, Spock. Welcome, welcome. We have an election in October. Which isn't... I mean, it's like 10 months away. But yeah, I mean, we're just streaming so late today. So I guess it's good if you live in... I guess actually, no, I guess in Europe it's only like 5 in the morning. Shots in the dark. I guess if you live in Japan, it's a pretty good time for the stream to be. The news reports are still flying in, and the story is still being pieced back together. But here's what's already known: Major Zivan Kedzovic, an inducted into the Conspiracy Secret Society, an officer in the Serbian army, is making his way home in Belgrade alongside a fellow soldier. When the two of them realized that they were being followed, not wishing to take the risk, the two men hastened their pace, hoping to either come across civilians to use a cover or a phone booth to call the police, but neither came. Instead, mysterious assailants opened fire, seriously wounded Kedzovic and killing his peer. Wounded, the officer was dragged out of sight, and so was the corpse behind him. It took the police 2 days to be informed about the officer's disappearance, and the search across Belgrade began immediately. Kedzovic was found, but by then it was already too late, as he had been long since dead. Police officers found a corpse in the outskirts of the city, and what was left was a message. Thus unto all enemies of God, the King and the White Hand. They're gonna lose a little bit of stability. He just finished his uni assignment. Gotta pull an all-nighter. Yeah, everyone's been there. Everybody's been there. Also, I think all of these focuses are basically just kind of trash. I mean, Bulgaria losing stability is fine, but I really don't think it's going to mean too much in the grand scheme of what we're doing here. Okay, Black Monday. Again, Black Monday is good for us because it should weaken Austrian grips over our society. Monthly population. How much should we get from population out of this? I mean, not a lot. 47 recruitable is basically ass. We'll take an upgrade here. So we can get roll grants. Are you all building slots? Absolutely not. I hate building slots. Guess I'm not going to sleep tonight. Hell yeah. Who needs sleep when you can watch a fantastic stream? Black Monday has hit Serbia. Serbia was devastated by the Blitzkrieg more so than any other nation. It lost a quarter of its population, and the entire nation was left plundered. Half of it was annexed by Bulgaria, while the rest of it had accepted massive concessions to the Austrian Empire. And yet, despite it all, Serbia endured, slowly rebuilding a stable, if weakened economy based around agriculture production and free trade. They reformed the King Alexander II's Prime Minister, Vyacheslav Vizkovic, were not undone by the Republican government, and so the stable Serbian denier he fought for remained throughout the 1930s. The collapse of the Berlin stock market has undone much of the work. Though Serbia is not tied to the German economy as other countries in the region, the collapse of the worldwide trade has tanked our agricultural exports, and so left us much of the economy in a void. A package of response measures and reforms were already being prepared, but the populace hit straight in the pocket no longer holds much trust in the Republican Party. After all, they could not have... they should have prevented this. How am I supposed to prevent it? Sleep is better than anthem? You know what? That's honestly true. Also, I'm definitely not eternal. I would have to take a guess. I mean, I haven't died yet, so it's hard to say. Maybe I am immortal. We'll have to wait until I die to find that out. So the Republicans will lose support. Socialists will gain support if we do not respond to Black Monday. Stabilize the Serbian denier. My guess for this campaign is that we're probably going to go pro-Russia. Did they change Serbia's borders? They changed it a few patches ago. We lost Nish to Bulgaria. This used to be Serbian to begin with. That's about it. Okay, the right wing of the Serbian political spectrum, beyond the People's Radical Party and the Grunians, is mainly composed of monarchists, and among them, two movements are the most notable. The State Party of Serbian Democrats was the sole legal party in Alexander II's rule of dictatorship, and lingers on the small moderate monarchist party, concentrated in a few constituencies where they are the strongest. And as they were too insignificant to threaten the Republican order, they were allowed to remain legal after the revolution. The second of the party is named after the revolution for the new generation of monarchists, named the Awakening, and its leader, Dmitry Lutovic, has been slowly making a name for himself. Speaking before the Spetsucnia, Lojtic addressed what he perceives to be the key issues of the Serbian Republic: the death of God and the nation, overtaken by lust and contempt, and the daily endless crushing of souls by the sledgehammer of capitalism, which the past governments have enabled with their policies. The politician's eccentric ways of speaking convinced few and made him few allies in the legislature. But his charismatic characteristics of the so-called Mita Bogomilic, the Divlej Mita, even back when he was an official in the King Alexander's royal dictatorship and a deputy of Smerdivino, Lojtic was unnerving to all his peers. He declared his service to the Kara Dordevic to be a divine providence. The Serbian people have had God's bestowed mission in the world, and his orthodox faith was beyond even the fanatical. Leading a far-right extreme nationalist royalist party, Lojtic was minnow on the political stage and been allowed to remain for now. But who knows where you might end up if circumstances change. Okay, we have now gotten 3 events right in a row. Okay. So we got gains in local elections. Several months prior to the parliamentary elections in the Serbian Republic, local elections for mayors and district council have been held in Montenegro. And the Montenegro Federalist Party, the CFS, has acquired an impressive victory. The majority of its mayors, district council, and other notable elected positions in Montenegro are now held by their members. In addition, the CFS also plans to contest the Montenegrin seats in the parliamentary elections. And both its leaders, Skula and Novica, are standing in for the Skupština. The CFS is a moderate successor to the Montenegrin Greens, a guerrilla movement loyal to the House of Petrol Nigos, which operated in Montenegro during the 1920s. When the unification of Serbia and Montenegro into the puppet kingdom under the Karađorđević, proclaimed by the Central Powers, these guerrillas organized into the mountainous regions and remained active until the Republican Revolution. While radical members of the movement continued to struggle, as they could hardly expect the restoration of the House of Petronovic, even in Montenegrin federal unit inside Serbia, moderates and Montenegrin politicians led by Dirlevic and Rodovic sought to negotiate. President Jasha granted them amnesty and signed several concessions for Montenegrins into law, such as increased local autonomy and recognition of the Montenegrin language. Now that 1906 rolls around, the CFS remains a powerful force in Montenegro, and their deputies in the, I'm just going to call it the parliament because it's easier, may prove crucial to swinging the election, depending on who they choose to work with. So they can either side with the Republicans or side with the Socialists. We'll have them side with the Republicans. And our men in Sofia. Eyeing Bulgaria like a hawk stalking prey, we see that our neighbor is entering a period of political strife. Here's the resentment towards the authoritarian regime of Tsar Ferdinand and his son, Crown Prince Boris, and his lackeys are finally exploding. A considerable faction of the Bulgarian parliament is now openly campaigning for the restoration of full constitutionalism and the abolishment of the State Protection Act. While our only interest in Bulgaria is the destruction of our hated hegemon, we in fact have our men in Sofia. The Bulgarian Agrarian National Union is a radical Republican faction of the BZNS, an agrarian political party that was shattered by the Bulgarian government for their oppression to the war, and still struggling to pick up the pieces. It's led by Alexander himself, and a man who with no illusions of ever working within the ruleless regime, again, and a real Bulgarian politician who politely calls himself a Yugoslav. The authorities of Bulgaria still believe that he is hiding somewhere in Sofia, when in reality he is safe in Serbia, from where he's able to command his faction, the BZNS. He still keeps in contact with the parliamentary faction, the BZNS, to exchange information, and so a few of them support the abolition of the State Protection Act, which, as Stambolisky assures, will be the first step towards an agrarian takeover of Bulgaria, which will now be able to work with Serbia in peace. Yes, let us influence Bulgarian politics. Looks lumpier than before. I mean, they also gave him, I think, Montenegro. I think they believed used to be maybe part of Illyria. And revenge. Once again, the law enforcement of the Republic have been mobilized as reports have committed high-profile murder. This time it took only a few hours for officers in Kragujevac were met with a horrifying sight in important areas of the city. Several officers from the Serbian army were relieved a few years ago because of suspicions that they belonged to the White Hand, stabbed and hanged by their feet publicly. A few children playing football around the block explained that some strange-looking men hanged them there not too long ago. Only the Dimas failed to realize who was behind the murders. Not only was Major Zivin, a respected member of the Serbian Culture Club and a secret organization behind it, is also the brother of Rajve Senovic, the commander of the Serbian Air Force, a leading member of the Republican Party and the conspiracy. While the military is understandably silent about the events, and Konovic merely expressed his solemn grief at his brother's death, it is almost certain that these assassinations are made as an act of righteous revenge. And again, much like everyone expected, the police closed the case a few days later, stating the investigation will pause for the time being as no possible suspect has been found. Okay, we do have some options here. I mean, just give me more national populist. An artillery purchase is... We will ignore you for now. We have 50% support for the conspiracy. I don't know how long that will really last for. Okay, military seized power in Mexico, which I believe means that they are now potential autocrat. Yes, they are. Definitely puts them in a much different situation than they usually find themselves to be in. There we go. Stabilize the Serbian dinar. Try to make sure our economy doesn't completely fall apart. I'm going to take another nice little sip of my drink here. Embolden socialist movement. The ongoing economic crisis has dealt with a serious blow to the mining industries of Montenegro and the manufacturing in Belgrade, and the workers there are understandably unhappy. This creates a potential radicalization mass for the radicals on the left to take advantage of and build their support within. The Socialist Worker Party and its call for labor empowerment is attractive to the average Chauvin out there on the street. To compete with this niche with the Socialist Party of Serbia, however, the reformist breakaway of the SRP composed of the moderate wing, which generally serves as the mediator between Republicans and the socialist workers. Though still inherently socialist, they state that the material conditions of Serbia are not fit for a revolution, that socialism can instead be achieved through the parliamentarian process. So we can either go for... Let's have the regular socialist gain some support. Is the plan to go national populist? No, because as far as I know, and maybe they changed this, maybe they haven't, going national populist as Serbia locks you out of a lot of focuses, and it kind of stops the series dead in its tracks. And I prefer that not to happen. Again, they maybe changed this. Maybe they might have changed it to allow Serbia to go national populist without completely screwing yourself over. Yeah, we got the Socialist Pope, and Republican Electoral strategy. Originally founded as a Republican Democratic Party, the Republicans consider themselves to be the successors to the independent radicals of the post-Feldkrieg era. Its left-wing Republican sympathetic faction in particular. It was founded by Ljubomir and Jasa in 1920 and instantly moved into opposition to Alexander II's role dictatorship. Being the most vocal Democratic faction in the opposition to the king, it swiftly built up support and championed the Republican Revolution. In the Serbian Republic, it is the more left-wing of two main established parties, the other being the People's Radical Party. Into the election of 1936, Republicans go in with everything to lose. They've been in power for the past 10 years, and under President Prodanovic and Vasic, they now face opposition from the left and the right. If they seek to remain in power, they need to prevent the center from collapsing and ensuring that neither the radicals nor the socialist workers are able to muster a majority without them. We will weaken the left, attack the socialists first, because again, we don't want to go socialist no matter what. We either want to go to state basic republic or we want to go for the monarchy path. I haven't really decided quite yet. And again, when do we break free from Austrian control? An offer from the conspiracy. They've been observing the election in 1996 when the shadows and the growth of the socialist movement in Serbia has left them concerned that there is no threat of a revolution, at least not yet. But the moderate faction of the SRP is firmly under the secret society's control, but they nevertheless presented an unexpected faction in Serbian politics. And when the restoration of the Great Serbia is in line, the thing which Konstantina wants is no unwanted surprises. So the military offers to provide a support to the Republican Party and start a secret. No, we're going to too risky.